In this video, I'll be sharing with you a requested tutorial from my group on how to cut this stylish backless flay dress with front slits. So if this is something you like, kindly hit on the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. So to start, here is my pattern paper and I'm going to start by cutting the upper part first, right? So I marked my shoulder to bust, under bust and waistline. Now the next step I'm going to take is to go ahead to mark my shoulder divided by 2 at this point, and I'll mark. Now from this point I'll come down by 1 inch. After coming down by 1 inch, I'll go ahead to mark my neckline of 3 inches. Now I'll place my ruler and I'll connect. The next step is to go ahead to find my chest line, right? So to find your chest line is your bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. I made a mark there and I'll draw out a straight line. Now I'll go ahead to mark my shoulder divided by 2 and I'll place my ruler, connect. After connecting, I'm just going to go ahead to divide what I have here into 2 equal parts and come in by ½ inch. I'll mark my round bust measurement divided by 4. Connect from the midpoint all the way up and also connect from your bust round circumference divided by 4 all the way to the midpoint of your pattern. Now to start marking, I'll be using a dart, but I will blend it out. Here I'll mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2 and I'll mark this all the way from the bust to the under bust and waist. Nipple to nipple is 7 inches divided by 2, which will give me 3.5 inches. So this is what I marked and connected all the way up. Mark ½ inch on both sides of the waistline and come down by 1 inch from the bust. Now go ahead to place your ruler and go ahead to connect on this side. After you're done connecting, it's time to insert your body measurement. Mark your bust round circumference divided by 4. Just add any sewing allowance of your choice, but it shouldn't be much because you're either going to pipe this dress with a bias or turn it with a lining. Now mark your under bust circumference divided by 4 and I'll measure this dart intake, replace and add my sewing allowance. Going down to the waistline, I'll mark my waist circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake, replace and add my sewing allowance. After marking this, I'm just going to go ahead to connect from the under bust all the way to the upper part, and from that point I'll connect to my waistline. I'll go ahead to cut out this pattern before we go ahead to cut out the neckline and blend out the dart of this pattern. Now this is what I have at this point. To work on the neckline, I'm going to go ahead to place my tape and I'm going to get the midpoint of my armhole and mark. So from that point here towards the chest line, I'll come up by 1.5 inches, which is not a standard. Go ahead to come up by 2 inches if you feel it's too low and connect. To tighten my neckline, I'm going to come in by ½ inch or 1 inch at this point, right? Come in by ½ inch or 1 to tighten the armhole of your dress. Sorry. Now I'll blend out this dart. So this way you're going to make your pattern without a dart. That means you've already cut out your dart, but you blended it out, and I'll cut out. Now use this to transfer your measurement for the front and add your strap to it. Now you know that this strap will be going all the way to the back of this dress, which you're going to use to lace it. Now that means your strap is going to be extra long, which it will extend all the way to the back. Now after marking out your pattern, we'll use this to draft out the back pattern. I'll outline the chest line. So depending on how open you want the back to be, you go ahead to mark. So I'm making use of 5.5 inches from the midpoint of the pattern. So I'll just mark here and then I'll go ahead to cross check. After marking, I'm going to place my ruler and go ahead to draw out a straight line. And after marking this, I'll just indicate that I'll be having like a lacing at this part. So if you feel the back pattern is much, you can go ahead to reduce it more, right? Note that this part that I cut out has a sewing allowance to it. So by the time you remove the sewing allowance by the side, you will have like little or nothing by the back. Now let's go ahead to cut out the flay. Now for this flay, you'll be using a 180-degree flay, and you'll be cutting the back separately and cutting the front separately. The only difference is that when you're cutting the front, you're not adding like a zipper allowance, but if you're cutting the back, you'll be adding a zipper allowance. So let's say my waist is 20 inches now, and I want to cut this. I'll divide my waist into two, giving me 10 inches, then plus my extra sewing allowance, let's say 12 inches. Now I'll use that 12 inches to cut out the round waist measurement for the front, but for the back, that 12 inches, I'll add additional 2 inches, or depending on the zipper allowance you're using, and I'll use it to cut out the back. Now let's say my waist measurement divided by 2 plus my sewing allowance is 4 inches. So that 4 inches, you place it this way, forming like a semicircle at that point at the upper part, and go ahead to draw it out. Place your tape at the upper part where it touches this point, that semicircle. What I have is 5 inches. Now you're going to take it all the way around. Now when you take it all the way around, you're still going to go ahead to reconnect it. Go ahead and reconnect the new line. That will be your actual waistline now. The next step you're going to take is to take the measurement from your waist to where your dress stops, and then you're going to go ahead to add like your folding allowance to it. Now take that your round measurement, that is from your waist to where your gown stops. You're going to place it this way, and you're going to cut it out. So after marking this, you just go ahead to connect this all the way to the other side, and you will cut this out. Remember, the same way you're cutting this for the front is the same method you're going to use for the back. The only difference is that for the back, you'll be adding additional inches to it because of the zipper, and you'll be cutting it into two. Why for this side, you just leave it as one piece, right? Now on this dress, at the front there is a slit. Go ahead to measure where you want the slit to be at the side, cut it open, and you go ahead to weave it round it, right? Or like fold it round it. So this is what you'll be having when you cut it out.